I just want to say, again, on May 4th, 1886, there was a group of workers from all around the city that were doing exactly what you're doing right now and standing in the streets here in Haymarket. You see, back in the 1880s, they fought for a living wage. They fought for the 8-hour workday, and they rebelled against being attacked both on their wages and physically here in the city of Chicago. And are we going to stand up for ourselves? In your communities, if they come after prevailing wage, if they come after, they want to have right to work, if they want to cut social services at the state level, are you going to fight back? That's right. We're all going to fight back because this is the labor movement. This is Chicago. It doesn't get any better than here in the Midwest. It doesn't get any better. I was in Philadelphia a couple days ago driving by the refineries going back to the airport, and it reminded me of the way I grew up. My dad putting on his boots on every day and going to work, making sure he had his union contract in his back pocket, making sure that I knew as a kid whether a worker was a member of a union or not, that they deserved respect and dignity in the workplace. And that's what we fight for here today. So here in Haymarket today, this event's being brought to you by the Chicago Federation of Labor, the Illinois Labor History Society, and Chicago Jobs with Justice. And I cannot tell you how important it is to have allies like Chicago Jobs with Justice and the Illinois Labor History Society, which fights every day to protect the important history here in the city of Chicago. Everything from what happened here in Haymarket to the Memorial Day Massacre to the Chicago Teachers Union strike that we just had a few years ago. These are things that matter. These are things that matter to people in our communities. I also want to thank UFCW Local 881, UE, SEIU Local 1, the Laborers District Council, and every single union, community group, organization, people who meet for coffee, people who have breakfast together that decided that they were going to come out and have fun with us here today and remember what the labor movement and what a workers' movement's all about. Brothers and sisters, as we talk about labor history and what it means to us, I now want to bring up the president of the Illinois Labor History Society and also a member of AFSCME Council 31, President Larry Spivak.
Happy May Day. Man, that was meek. Isn't this the birthplace of international labor solidarity? Happy May Day. Yeah, let's hear it. I think some of you know the story, so I'm not going to do the whole thing about how it all began and why International Labor Day belongs here in Chicago as it does currently everywhere else in the world. That statue that was dedicated in 2004 was a struggle over 114 years to get. And then in 2005, and I just saw my friend the Reverend Dan Dale, who was giving a tour at the Forest Home Cemetery where our martyrs are, where the reason that International Labor Day exists was with a group of Colombian trade unionists who were in exile, and we talked, and here we had our first plaque in 2005 representing international labor solidarity, the Colombian trade unionists. And since then, every year, we have dedicated plaques here to remind ourselves that true social and economic justice will be ours when we realize that international labor solidarity is really the answer to the world's problems. A little while ago, I ran into the General Counsel from France, the consulate from France, Victor Faliani. I don't know if he is here, and he was so happy to see the plaque from last year from CGT from France. If you were here, I mean, why France? Well, in 1889, when the trade union movement met, it was decided, why not celebrate International Labor Day, May Day, all over the world because of the martyrs of Chicago. And that's why we're here. And hopefully, as we reclaim May Day and understand that organized labor has said that is our holiday. This is not some European or some Russian holiday. This is our International Labor Day for all members of the working class throughout the world. And so since then, if you look at the monument, and we're going to be down there in a moment to unveil this year's plaque, we have the Mexican labor movement. We have the Iraqi labor movement. We have Union International from Europe and all over the world. We have New Zealand. We have France. Mexico. We now have Germany. We're going to unveil the Swedish plaque in a few moments. And if anybody can tell us about the idea of how the labor movement creates social and economic justice, we should look at Sweden, and we're going to hear about a little bit about that in a moment. So I just want to say again that the Illinois Labor History Society, who is a representative of the international working class, because we are, after all, charged with the care into perpetuity of the Haymarket Martyrs Monument in Forest Park, and are so happy to host every year here in May, I was going to say May Day Square. Isn't that what it should be? May Day Square. Shouldn't that be Haymarket Park? Shouldn't there be 100,000 people here at some point? Yeah, we will do that. But I'm so happy that you came out today, because I want to introduce a good friend of ours and some of his comrades. Tobias Baudin. He is the first vice president. You got to get these names right. He is the first vice president of the Swedish Trade Union Federation, like RAFL-CIO. Came to Chicago to dedicate this plaque. And for you hockey fans, you know how he got started? He was a maintenance engineer for a hockey arena in northern Sweden. Go Hawks. And so he went to become a union organizer for his municipal employees union, just like I did. So, hey, how's that for sisterhood and brotherhood? But Tobias is going to say a few words, and then we're going to head down, unveil the plaque, and so if you'll make a little room in a few moments, and we're going to have our good friend Ann Feeney, sort of a Joe Hill. She is a Joe Hill of today. And we're going to have from Sweden, Jan Hammerling, also singing a song as we unveil the plaque, and then we'll continue the discussion. So, my good friend, International Labor Solidarity, Tobias Baudin.
Thank you. Thank you, Larry. It's a great, great honor for me and my friends from Sweden to be here today with you this 1st of May. Friends, brothers and sisters, we are gathering to celebrate 1st of May, the International Day of Worker Solidarity. We gather in the memory of the martyrs of the Haymarket, and their message was simple and it was clear. We have the right to decent working hours. We have the right to a fair wage. We have the right to be treated with respect, because we are human beings and we deserve to be treated like that. The response they got was also simple and clear. Violence, bullets, oppression. But dear friends, the Haymarket martyrs are not forgotten. Their voices are heard even today. They are heard here in Chicago. They are heard in Stockholm. They are heard in my hometown of Luleå. Yes, they are heard all over the world. And whenever workers join together to demand their rights, the voices of the Haymarket martyrs are heard. Whenever workers go on strike, the voices of the Haymarket martyrs are heard. Whenever, wherever workers take to stand for human rights, we hear the voices of the Haymarket martyrs. So let us here today, on the International Labor Day, send a message of solidarity, not only to other gatherings here in the US. Let us send a message of solidarity to all men and women worldwide who fight for justice, for freedom, for equality, and to all you right-wing politicians, greedy bankers, and ruthless corporations. Here's a message to you from Haymarket Square. It rings out through the centuries. It rings out through the whole world. Your party is over because we are many. We are stronger than you, and we will stand together in solidarity. And brothers and sisters, those who formed the first labor union in my home country, Sweden, gave each other a promise. The union vow. It is written on our plaque here today, and it reads, "We do solemnly swear that we will never, under any circumstances, work for lower wages or under worse conditions that we now promise each other. We make this vow in the secure knowledge that if we are true to our pledge, the employer will be forced to meet our demands." Dear friends, this is a promise of solidarity, made in the knowledge that our own rights never can be protected unless the right of others are also protected, that an injury to one of us is an injury to all. So let us give this promise here today. We will stand together. We will strengthen our solidarity because the union makes us strong. And today, we also remember my fellow countryman, Joe Hill, the Swedish immigrant who became a union hero here in the US. And prior to his execution, he wrote a letter to his union saying, "Don't mourn, organize." So dear friends, let us today heed his call. Yes, let this day be a day of remembrance, but most of all, let it be a day of hope and determination. Let the voice of workers be heard. Let us join together. Let us stand up for our rights. Let us organize. Thank you for listening. Solidarity forever.
We're going to unveil the plaque, but I just want to give a special shout out to our Japanese brothers and sisters. If you look at the monument, you'll see the plaque from Zenrora, and they are here. Can you hold up your sign? Thank you.
From Stockholm, Sweden, to my left, and that's not an easy place to get to, that is Jan Hammarlund.
Hello. Oh, this is my great friend and Hellraiser, Anne Feeney. I know she's been with you before.
May Day, May Day, that's the real workers' day. Labor's history says, don't give your day away. It's time that the working classes stick Labor Day up your, I always forget that word. Well, will you provide that word when I get it to it? May Day, May Day, that's the real workers' day. Labor's history says, don't give our day away. It's time that the working classes stick Labor Day up. And ain't it great to celebrate on the glorious 1st of May?
Okay. Now this is a song that where Percy Wenrich wrote the tune and Joe Hill wrote new words to it. It's called What We Want. We want all the workers in the world to organize into a great big union grand. And when we all together stand, the world for workers will demand. If the working class could only see and realize what mighty power labor has, then the exploiting master class, it would soon fade away. Come all ye toilers who work for wages, come from every land. Join our fighting band into one union grand. Then for the workers we'll build upon this earth a paradise. When the slaves get wise, get wise, get wise and organize. We want the sailors and the tailors and the lumberjack and all the cooks and laundry girls. We want the guy who dives for pearls, the pretty maid who's making curls, and the baker and the staker and the chimney sweep. And we want the guy who's slinging hash, the child who works for little cash in one union grand. Come all ye toilers who work for wages, come from every land. Join the fighting band into one union grand. Then for the workers we'll build upon this earth a paradise. When the slaves get wise, get wise, get wise and organize. We want the tinner and the skinner and the chambermaid. We want the guy who spikes our souls. We want the gal who's digging holes. We want the guy who's climbing poles. And the trucker and the mucker and the hired man. And all the factory girls and clerks. Yes, we want everyone who works in one union grand. Come all ye toilers who work for wages, come from every land. Join the fighting band into one union grand. Then for the workers we'll build upon this earth a paradise. When the slaves get wise, get wise, get wise and organize. Thank you.
Wasn't that great? I'm sorry, what? Come on! I'm going to hold up my sign one more time. I want to see you hold up your signs. Come on, raise your signs up. Are you proud to be in this movement? Yeah! Are you proud to be in this movement? Yeah! You know, not only are the Swedes unveiling a plaque today, but the president of the Illinois Labor History Society, again, Larry Spivak, is standing there at the corner of the Haymarket Monument, and he's about to unveil a plaque for the German Labor Federation, who wasn't able to be here this year, but will be here next year when the crowd's even bigger. Larry, let's hear it for the Germans and the Swedish. So, I know that everyone here is familiar with the struggles that workers in the retail industry go through every day, in the food service industry. And we're here to acknowledge those struggles and hear from those workers. All across the country, people who work at restaurants like McDonald's are standing up for themselves and doing one basic thing: fighting for 15. Are we ready to fight for 15 with them? And we have one of those workers from McDonald's here, and we're going to have her come up and speak. So let's join the Fight for 15 movement. And where's Adriana Sanchez? Adriana, please come up.
Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Adriana Sánchez.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adriana Sanchez.
Soy una trabajadora de McDonald's y líder de la lucha por 15.
I am a McDonald's worker and a leader in the fight for 15.
Bueno, estamos aquí porque hoy es 1 de mayo.
So we're here today on May 1st.
Es un día muy especial porque en el año de 1886 se realizó una huelga general en Chicago.
It's an important day because in 1886 there was a general strike in Chicago
Para reclamar la jornada laboral de 8 horas de trabajo al día.
to demand an 8-hour workday.
También los trabajadores estaban exigiendo un salario justo y digno
Also, the workers are demanding a living wage and respect on the job.
y días de descanso. Y una de nuestras líderes fue Lucy González Person.
And paid sick days. Also, one of those leaders is somebody that we honor at the Fight for 15, Lucy Gonzalez Parsons.
Una mujer y organizadora radical afromexicana.
She was a radical organizer. She was a black Mexican woman.
Acompañada de su esposo Alberto Parson y sus hijos Lulú y Alberto Jr.
She was accompanied by her husband, Albert Parsons, her daughter, Lulu, and her son, Alberto Parsons Jr.
Tomaron la calle con las obreras y obreros industriales denunciando la explotación de sus empleadores.
They took to the streets with industrial workers, demanding the end of exploitation by their employers.
Y Lucy, en medio del dolor y la represión, gritó con dignidad: no llorar, organizar.
Organizar.
No llorar, organizar. No llorar, organizar. Y hoy, un siglo después,
And so Lucy chanted out, "We don't cry, we organize." And today, a century later,
la industria de comida rápida estamos luchando nuevamente para exigir
the fast food workers, so now we live in an industry of fast food industry,
un salario digno para todas y el derecho de una unión sin represalias.
and we're here today demanding the same thing, an end to discrimination, the right to have a union without retaliation.
Y el día 15 de abril, como todos sabemos, tuvimos nuestra huelga más grande en la historia,
And as many of you know, on April 15th, we had our biggest strike ever,
donde miles y miles de personas nos apoyaron y salieron a las calles con nosotros.
where thousands and thousands of people took to the streets with us.
Industrias de otros trabajadores, gente de la comunidad y religiosos y estudiantes nos apoyaron.
Members of the community, faith leaders, other unions, students, faculty as well took to the streets supporting us.
Salimos en huelga 233 ciudades y 40 países.
We grew and we went on strike in 236 cities and 40 plus countries.
Y esto es solo por una unión que es nuestra única salida que tenemos para que respeten nuestros derechos básicos y elementales.
So the right to have a union is our only way out to get what we deserve, our basic human rights.
Exigimos respeto,
We demand respect.
exigimos no a la discriminación en el trabajo y calles, que somos más que un color.
We demand the end to discrimination at work and in the streets. We are more than just our color.
Estamos en solidaridad luchando en Baltimore y hasta en Ferguson no nos moverán.
We stand in solidarity with those from Ferguson all the way to Baltimore. We shall not be moved.
Exigimos no a la discriminación de edad. Esto no es un impedimento para trabajar.
We demand the end to age discrimination.
Exigimos un salario digno y horas estables.
We demand that they don't change our schedule and that we have the same hours.
Exigimos que cumplan la ley federal. No intimidación ni represalias. Somos una unión.
We demand that they enforce the federal law, that we have the right to have a union without retaliation.
El 20 de mayo estaremos nuevamente miles y miles de trabajadores de la industria de comida rápida
So on May 20th, we will take to the streets again thousands and thousands of fast food workers,
exigiendo una sola voz el derecho a una unión sin represalias
where we will be demanding in one united voice what we deserve.
en las oficinas corporativas de McDonald's. Y es importante que todos nos apoyen.
The right to have a union. We will be taking the streets at McDonald's headquarters in Oak Brook, and it's important that all of you come out and support us again.
También los invito a que hoy nos apoyen en el McDonald's de la 5015 al West de la Madison.
We also ask that you support us today, where we'll be doing an action at 5015 West Madison McDonald's
A las 2:30 para protestar el abuso verbal y la discriminación de edad en esta tienda.
where we'll be demanding at 2:30 an end to verbal abuse and age discrimination.
No es justo que nos traten así.
It is not fair that they treat us that way.
La unión es la única salida y la luz de esperanza.
The union is the only way that we're going to get what we deserve.
No más explotación, basta de tanta humillación.
No more exploitation, no more humiliation by our managers.
Sin derecho no hay represalias.
Without the right, we will not have the end to retaliation.
Y como dijo Lucy González Parson, no hay que llorar, organizar.
No llorar,
Organizar, no llorar, organizar. Adelante, compañeros, y feliz Día del Trabajo.
Yes, we can. Happy May Day.
Brothers and sisters, as we see our country being Walmart-ized, we have to wonder what happened to working in a grocery store and being able to have that give you access to the middle class, help you build a career, work your way up from being a stock boy to being a meat cutter, to working in the produce department, providing a service where service jobs were able to contribute to the economy. Now we have a service economy, but we don't have the ability to be consumers. And where's our country going? It's going the way of Citizens United, where everything is being controlled by those who have, pushing down on the people who do not have much. And the labor movement does a lot of things to support those workers. We take to the streets, we fight for a higher minimum wage. We fight for earned sick time. But the one thing that we will always fight for is a contract in the workplace. And right now, UFCW Local 881 has a campaign to organize Food for Less grocery stores here in Chicago. And we're going to have one of those workers step up here right now, a young man who I talked to earlier who's going to tell us about his life and his struggle. Rennell Berry. Come on, Rennell. Let's give it up. Come on.
name is Ronell Berry. I work at Food for Less Kroger. I've worked there for about 2 years now. I'm 24 years old.
Hola, mi nombre es Ranel Berry. Hola, mi nombre es Ranel Berry. Yo trabajo en el Food for Less. Yo tengo 24 años.
I'm here today because we want a union. We want something more.
Estoy aquí porque nosotros merecemos y queremos una unión. Exigimos más.
We want more respect shown for our views and our coworkers.
Nosotros queremos más respeto por nuestros compañeros y en lo que nosotros pensamos.
We want more respect shown for our prior and future commitments.
Nosotros queremos respeto por la vida que tenemos afuera del trabajo.
We want real paid sick days and our correct pay rates.
Nosotros queremos días pagados de enfermedad y que nos paguen lo que nosotros merecemos.
And we want a better overall work environment.
Y queremos un ambiente mejor para trabajo.
I'm here today because we started a petition,
Estoy aquí porque nosotros empezamos una petición
and we're asking for some more support from this community to fight with us.
y estamos pidiendo el apoyo de ustedes que vengan a luchar con nosotros.
Gracias.
Gracias. Nice job.
Brothers and sisters, you may know what's going on here in the state of Illinois, where the governor has cut social services out of the budget. He's attacked our most vulnerable. He's going around city to city asking villages to pass resolutions asking the state to strip away basic rights for people who work in their communities. And no one knows this fight more than the people that work in the public sector, the ones who provide those social services, the ones who work in those villages and towns, the ones who work at the state, the county, and the city to be able to help those who don't have the ability to help themselves, the mentally ill, the homeless, people recovering from traumatic life experiences, and the ones who provide basic services to us every day. And an organization that is right in front of that fight, who's right at the tip of the sword, but will always stand up not only for the workers that they represent, but also for the people that they serve every day. I'd like to bring up the executive director of ASME Council 31, Roberta Lynch, who's going to tell us about the fight.
Good afternoon, sisters and brothers. We are here today standing on the shoulders of those who went before us, of hundreds and thousands, yes, millions of workers who struggled and strove and in some cases gave their lives to build a better world for working people. And when we build a better world for working people, we're building a better world for all people. Yes, we stand on their shoulders, but also we must carry on what they've done. The struggle they waged is not over. It must be waged anew every day, because every day in this country now, there is a war on workers going on. Every day in the state of Illinois, where we have a governor who says that his number one goal is to eliminate all union members in the state of Illinois. A governor who says that his goal is to destroy the labor movement. A governor who, while we have people in our state suffering without enough food to eat, without access to medical care, is devoting every ounce of his time to trying to destroy unions. Why is that? Here's a man who made $61 million last year. $61 million last year. And he is infuriated that unions have raised the wages of workers too high. He is furious that unions have gotten decent benefits for working people. He applauds the fact that the wealthy in our country control an ever greater portion of the wealth of this country. As we came out of the recession and our economy began to grow again, yes, the economy grew, but the top 1% gained 95% of that growth. The top 1% gained 95%, while in every single state of the Union, the percentage of people in the middle class declined. We're becoming a country in which the rich have ever more and the middle class is rapidly disappearing. The sisters who spoke for the Fight for 15, do you know in our country today, when just 17% of people are represented by unions, people say good jobs are disappearing? No, good jobs aren't disappearing. Good jobs are being destroyed. Good jobs are being sent overseas by irrational trade laws, and good jobs are being destroyed by a corporate class that is trying to destroy the unions that have created good jobs. Good jobs didn't happen. Unions made good jobs. Unions raised wages. Unions raised benefits for workers. Unions brought the 40-hour week to this country. And now today, what is happening as they launch this unprecedented attack to destroy unions? Wages are being driven down, down, down. 42% of workers in this country today make less than $15 an hour. That's almost half of the entire workforce working for a non-living wage. And what does that mean? That means they work too much overtime. That means they often work 2 jobs. And that means they work in the new environment where they often only get part-time hours. They don't know what their schedules are going to be from one week to the next. This corporate class today is not only driving down wages, it's deliberately, purposely destroying families in our country. How can we have a family life when people don't know what their hours are going to be from one week to the next? How can we have a family life when families don't earn a living wage? How can we have a family life when people don't have access to dignity in retirement? All of the things that make up the American dream are under assault today. And the front lines of that assault is here in the state of Illinois, because there is no other state in the country that has a governor who is leading the assault to destroy organized labor. So, sisters and brothers, the task before us is clear, and we are waging it every day. In every village, county, and city in the state of Illinois where Bruce Rauner has gone to pass his Destroy Union resolution, the labor movement has come out in small towns. Mount Vernon, Illinois, 500 union members packed the city hall. Livingston, Illinois, 400 union members packed the county board meeting. They had to take it outside. We're rising up, and we must rise ever stronger. We're united, and we must be ever more united. We're fighting, and we must fight ever harder. There is a war on workers, and it is a war we must and we will win. Thank you.
Brothers and sisters, remember that you are here today. Remember what happened here in 1886. Remember in 1887, 4 men were hung for being in this square, or maybe not even being in this square, but for standing up for workers' rights. That their lives mattered. That their fight mattered. And if in your community or if in the community next door, or if you can get in your car and make it to a county board meeting or a village board meeting, and you can stand up for workers. You can grab the microphone in public comment and tell them why this war on workers doesn't make sense, how it's undermining our community, how it's undermining our economy. Be there and remember that you were here today. Every year, we reclaim Haymarket and May Day a little bit more for the labor movement here in Chicago and hopefully for the labor movement across the country. If you go to my Twitter, @BobWriterCFL, we'll have pictures from May Day here today, but I also will have information when we have mobilization, when we need you to come to those meetings, we'll put the information there. And as we're here on May Day, the Illinois Labor History Society is selling Joe Hill t-shirts over here by the monument. Please support the Illinois Labor History Society and do whatever you can do to preserve labor history here in Illinois, because if we don't do it, no one else will. And to be instructive on what our labor history is, the best way I could think to close this program out and teach us a little bit more is not only someone who's a labor historian, but he's a labor musician historian. Bucky, are you ready? All right. Brothers and sisters, as we do every year, our traveling labor troubadour and educator, Bucky Hawker, is going to play some songs for us and bring May Day to a close. Thank you.
Yo, 1, 2. JP, why don't you come up here? We'll at least try to get through us. I'll take that if you want to give me a guitar mic.
Check 1, 2, check. Hello, hello. Howdy. Check
All
1, 2,
right.
check, check. Hello, hello.
Do you want to come up? We can all sing Solidarity. And Jan, we want to remind you tonight we're doing a show at the Hideout dedicated to Joe Hill. And we'll be doing a lot of Joe Hill material. This is the 100th anniversary of his unjust execution for murder, so we're trying to keep Joe Hill's legacy alive. We have a bunch of musicians coming to the Hideout. Ann Feeney, who you heard earlier, Jan Hammerlund from Sweden is part of this group. So we'll be playing tonight. J.P. Wright, who's standing right there, he'll be joining us. Hello. And this is Lonnie Aloha from the Old Town School, who's going to sing with us as well. So we want to at least finish off with one labor classic that came from the IWW, a song Ralph Chaplin from Lombard, Illinois, believe it or not, wrote. And Ralph Chaplin also started Lilac Festival Day in Lombard, believe it or not. But let's do a little Solidarity Forever to end the show here. And we want you to sing along, so please join us. It's a simple chorus. Hard not to be able to sing along. When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. But the force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one, for the union makes us strong. All right, everybody, let's sing now. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the sight of armies magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to earth a new world on the ashes of the old, and the union makes us strong. Here we go again. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Give me a verse over there.
It is we who plowed the prairies, built the cities where they trade, the mines, the mills, the factories, endless miles of railroad laid. We will stand outcast and starving, midst the wonders
strong. That's it. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. How about Jan? No?
All the world that's owned by idle drones is ours and ours alone. We have laid the white foundation, built it skyward stone by stone. It is ours not to slave in, but to cherish as our own. And the union makes us strong.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. One more chorus now. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Thank you so much. See you tonight at the Hideout.